China has been actively working to create alternative structures and strategic alliances that actually serve as a replacement or complement to the existing global trading system. Although it has not officially proposed the creation of an organization to replace the World Trade Organization, WTO. One of the most notable initiatives is the ambitious Belt and Road Project launched in 2013. It aims to boost global trade by developing infrastructure and improving transportation connectivity between Asia, Europe, and Africa. This will allow China to strengthen its trade ties with the project participants and increase its influence in the regions. China also played a key role in the establishment of the Comprehensive Regional Economic Partnership, CREP, the world's largest free trade area agreement. It includes 15 countries in the Asia-Pacific region. The RCEP opens new opportunities for economic integration in Asia and helps reduce trade barriers for Chinese companies. In the financial sector, China has developed the Cross-Border Interbank Payment System, CIPS, to facilitate international settlement in RMB. It is the first interbank payment system established by the PRC to service cross-border transactions. CIPS reduces dependence on the dominant SWIFT system and promotes the internationalization of the RMB. Already more than 1,280 financial institutions from 103 countries use the platform. China is also an active member of BRICS, a multilateral forum of leading emerging economies. BRICS has established the New Development Bank and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement Pool, which offer alternative sources of financing for infrastructure projects and liquidity support. All of these initiatives demonstrate China's desire to reshape the global trade and economic architecture, establishing itself as a central player and potentially limiting the dominance of Western-created and Western-led institutions such as the WTO. Although there is no formal replacement for the WTO, these projects reflect China's drive to create a more self-centered global trading network. Between 2002 and 2006, after joining the WTO in 2001, China was involved in relatively few trade disputes compared to other major economies. This allowed it to accumulate experience and better understand the dispute settlement mechanism. During this period, China was directly involved in only 5 disputes, much less than India or Russia. Subsequently, however, China has increasingly used WTO procedures to challenge trade barriers imposed by other countries. A prime example was the 2002 dispute with the United States over U.S.-imposed import duties on steel. The George W. Bush Jr. administration imposed tariffs ranging from 8% to 30% on various steel products to protect the domestic steel industry from an influx of imports. The measures affected major steel exporters including the European Union, Japan, South Korea, and China. A coalition of 8 countries filed a complaint with the WTO, challenging the legality of the U.S. duties. In November 2003, the WTO appellate body upheld the original ruling that the U.S. restrictions contravened the organization's agreements, particularly the Agreement on Safeguard Measures and the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Washington failed to convincingly prove that the increase in imports was causing serious damage to the national industry. The WTO then authorized retaliatory measures against the U.S. The EU planned to impose about $2.2 billion in retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, including politically sensitive products like orange juice, textiles, and motorcycles. China has also been granted countermeasures, although their exact economic impact is less documented than for the EU. Faced with the threat of large-scale retaliation, the U.S. authorities eliminated steel duties in December 2003, just 1 month after the WTO ruling. This precedent demonstrated China's willingness to use WTO mechanisms to challenge unfair trade practices and protect its economic interests. China has subsequently achieved significant victories in trade disputes on numerous occasions. In 2019, the WTO authorized Beijing to impose duties on $3.6 billion worth of U.S. goods in response to U.S. anti-dumping duties on Chinese products. This success underscored the effectiveness of the dispute settlement mechanism and China's ability to defend its interests within the existing system. In parallel, China is building alternative international economic formats and trade routes. A key project here is the Belt and Road Initiative, which aims to create a vast network of transportation corridors between Asia, Europe, and Africa. This infrastructure program will expand China's ability to trade with more than 65 countries that are home to about a third of the world's population and produce a third of the world's GDP. Belt and Road will also allow Beijing to diversify its sources of raw materials, expand into new markets, and utilize excess production capacity. At the regional level, China has been the architect of the Comprehensive Regional Economic Partnership. This world's largest free trade agreement covers about 30% of the global economy and lowers tariff barriers between 15 Asia-Pacific nations. The RCEP provides an alternative framework for economic integration in Asia, while excluding the US, which previously lobbied for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. In the financial sphere, China has established the Cross-Border Interbank Payment System, CIPS, for RMB settlement. This system is designed to reduce dependence on the dominant SWIFT system and the US dollar. By internationalizing the RMB, CIPS is part of the PRC's broader strategy to reform the global financial architecture and reduce vulnerability to possible US sanctions. Beijing is also actively pursuing bilateral and regional free trade agreements, especially with resource-rich countries. These treaties ensure a steady supply of raw materials for Chinese companies and strengthen the PRC's trade ties outside the traditional Western economic framework dominated by the US dollar. These policies are consistent with China's hub-and-spoke model, with China acting as the central hub and developing countries as peripheral spokes. Taken together, all these initiatives reflect China's strategy to reconfigure the global trade and economic system. By creating alternative mechanisms and alliances, Beijing is positioning itself as a central player in global trade, potentially reducing the dominance of Western-led institutions such as the WTO. The success of these efforts could lead to a significant realignment of global supply chains, with more countries targeting China as their main trading partner. If China's policies prove effective, it will radically alter the current global economic order. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to give it a like if you liked it and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss new interesting episodes. We wish you a good day and a great mood.